Hey friends! Today I have a super quick video where I'm going to share with you a couple of tips about using Procreate. This might seem random and will probably be really short, but I have been getting the question about how to change the color in your Procreate background lately, and it's one of those things that it takes me a minute to remember or to look up or to type out, so I thought I would just make a video showing you how to do it, and that then I would add a couple of other Procreate tips that might be helpful for you. So the first one, like I mentioned, is how to change the color of this bar that goes around the edges of your Procreate. It is super easy, and all you do is press the wrench tool right up at the top left, and then you will need to go over and choose the prefs, P-R-E-F-S. And once you click on that, you can see the first one says light interface. And I believe it comes standard as black, and then if you switch that on, it will turn white for you. So if you want it black, keep it off, and if you want a white border, turn that button on. The next thing that I want to show you is how you can change this little slider bar from the left side to the right. Depending on which way you write with which hand, it might be kind of in the way. So if you don't like it over there, you can also switch it over to be on the right hand side. And the way that you do this is you just do the same thing that we did before. You go up to the wrench tool and then choose prefs, and then select the one that says right hand interface. Doing that will slide that control bar over to the right hand side so that it doesn't get in your way if it did before. The next tip that I want to show you is how to adjust your streamline. A lot of people ask me why it looks like there's sort of a magnetic pull when I'm lettering on the iPad Pro, and this is because of the Streamline feature. The Apple Pencil is super sensitive and will show almost every tiny little wiggle or jitter that you might have when you're lettering, but the Streamline feature can help smooth out your lines and hide some of those jitters. So the way that we add Streamline is by clicking into our brush and then selecting the stroke button. You can see the Streamline in the second tab, and you can adjust the strength of it to your personal preference. You might not want it to be all the way to 100% because it really can affect the look of your lettering, but even just a little bit can help. I personally like to keep it up all the way though, so it is definitely just a personal preference. And here is just an example of what it looks like to write without the Streamline feature on at all. I'm using the same brush that I have been using this whole video, which is my favorite calligraphy brush. And as you can see, it looks quite a bit different. When I first got the Procreate app with my iPad Pro and Apple Pencil, they did not have the Streamline feature. So I did get used to writing without it, and it looks really similar to the way that I write now. But once they pulled out that feature, it just made it a lot easier. It made it quicker to do things, and it made me loosen up on my grip a little bit so that I wasn't spending so much time trying to get perfect lines. And so I know a lot of people were kind of against Streamline at first. I don't know that I've heard that for a while, but I personally think it was great. It allowed me to loosen up my grip and not be so sore after I was lettering, and obviously spend a little bit less time trying to perfect shaky letters. So the next thing that I want to show you is how to switch up your color palettes. There are a few different options for how you view your colors, and you can switch them back and forth by clicking on the color circle in the top right and then clicking on the disc or the classic button. If you haven't played around with creating your own color palettes, you can do that by simply clicking on palettes in the bottom right of that section and then pressing the plus sign at the top right corner. Once you're there, you are going to go back and choose your color from the color palette, and then go back to the palette section and simply press down on one of the empty squares. This will attach that color to the square and help you to create a custom color palette. I'm not very good at putting colors together, so what I like to do to help me create better color palettes is I like to go to Pinterest and choose a photo that has the colors that I like and then take a screenshot of it. Then you can import the photos from your photo stream into Procreate by pressing the wrench tool at the top left and then the down arrow that says image and then insert a photo. I'm using the new iPad that's not the iPad Pro, so it may look a little bit different than yours if you're due for an update or have an older version of Procreate. But I know that on my iPad Pro, the option is called insert flat image. So just look for one of those two and insert your photo. Then I will pull the colors out of that photo for my color palette by using the color picker. So you can do that by pressing on the little square in between your brush size and brush opacity bars, and then drag the finder to the color that you choose. Then open that color palette back up and press on the circle on the top right hand corner of the screen. Go back to your palettes button and then press onto an empty square to add that color onto it. If you do this over and over in your photo, then you'll have a full and perfectly coordinated color palette without having to kind of pull out those colors out of a simple color wheel. To me, this is just so much easier, and I can find colors that I never would have thought to put together. I usually look for pictures that are either a cutely coordinated room or from a store that I like, where they have kind of a setup of their season's colors. And then I also look for branding color swatches or just an outdoor photo where you can find some pretty colors there. So that's just a couple of ideas and another way to help you get some pretty color palettes without having to pull them out of the color wheel. And the last thing that I want to share super quickly, in case you're not familiar with them, are some of the gestures for Procreate. These are just shortcuts that help you to move around quicker in the app when you're lettering and can save you some time. So the first one is simply a 2-finger tap. When you write something but make a mistake, you can just tap down 2 fingers to delete it, and then if you want that back, you can just press 3 fingers and bring it right back. Now, if you want to delete a whole bunch of your brush strokes, you can do that by simply tapping 2 fingers over and over, and again, just use the 3-finger tap to bring them all back. Now, maybe you know that you want to delete a whole bunch of things. You can just hold down your 2 fingers, and that will delete it all really, really quickly. And just like before, if you want to bring it back quickly, you can just hold down your 3 fingers. Now, let's just say that you want to erase the whole thing and start over. You can do that by holding down 3 fingers and swiping back and forth, which clears your entire screen. One thing that I do want to mention is that when you do this and then close out of your canvas, you cannot come back and redo, just like when you use the button. So just make sure before you click out that you don't have anything else that you wanted to add back into your canvas. So that is all for the video today. I hope that helps you with some of your iPad lettering, and let me know if you have any other specific questions or things that you'd like to see demonstrated on the iPad Pro with the Procreate app and the Apple Pencil. And just because I always get these questions, I just want to say it now. I am using the new $329 iPad not the Pro, just the regular iPad, and I will leave a link in the description box below for the video where I talk about that. And I'm also using the Apple Pencil and the Procreate app, and the brushes that I'm using are free from Rad and Happy. I use them all the time and get lots of questions about them, so I will link those in the description box below too. So thank you all for watching. I hope that you will subscribe if you aren't already, and if you want to follow along for more videos throughout the week, just quick like lettering videos, 1 or 2 words here and there, you can follow me on Instagram. It is just at HowToHandletter. So thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.